Thank you. Moving on to Rowan Cahill. Rowan, of course, needs no introduction, of course, so I'll proceed. He's been a teacher, labour activist and historian who attained his doctorate from the University of Wollongong in 2013 for a thesis on radical journalist and labour movement stalwart Rupert Lockwood. In the long 1960s, Rowan was a draft resistor, founding member of the Free University and member of the editorial board of Australian Left Review. He's a co-author with Terry Irving of Radical Sydney, here it is, Places, Portraits and Unruly Episodes, and the co-editor with Bev Simons of A Turbulent Decade, Social Protest Movements and the Labour Movement 1965 to 1975. He is writing a memoir which will deal at length with the 1960s, and today he will share some of those reflections with us. Rowan.
Right, well, there's a leaflet coming out, just take a copy because it'll become significant for a few minutes' time. But before I start, just a few things about 1968 that get on my go. First of all, to think of 1968 as a sort of a standalone, amazing event, yeah, well it was, but it lends itself to people thinking that that was the beginning and not something else. And forgets, I tend to take the view that 1968 was actually the bloody product of a long period from 1945 onwards, of a lot of organisations, a lot of cultures, a lot of influences that did, beginning in Vietnam, the Tet Offensive, shape the world in 1968. When people look at 1968, they say, oh yeah, right, then he produces student power to Australia and stuff like that. And by the way, it allows Australian leftists and right-wing conservatives of the wing shell Grantian kind to portray 60s radicalism as imitative, when really, 1968, yeah, it was radical, all right, but it was inspiring. You didn't imitate or copy. It wasn't the beginning, it was part of a long bloody process. And so in Australia, of course, the concept of student power was explored, for instance, at Sydney University in 1967, the first sit-ins there over the library fines, the Free University, the Worker Student Alliance, that's identified with 1968, being pioneered in bloody Brisbane, 66 to 67. And of course, the big demonstrations occur after 1968, of course, culminating in moratoriums. It took a hell of a lot of effort to bring those big demonstrations together. There was a time when I was the Vice President of the Australian Association of International Cooperation and Development, disarmament, working towards with to help build the moratoriums. And to tour building sites from 1966 onwards and mix with the grey hairs in the peace movement on the North Shore, people who thought long hair, and my long hair, when you check my ASIO files, my long hair just came down to my bloody shoulders. And yet that was long hair. People objecting to the use of the word fuck. To bring this massive group of people together, something like, 200 different organisations and groups and interests together to build those moratoriums, that was a decade-long process, or half a decade-long process from 1964 onwards. 68 helped it happen, but it didn't do it. All right, that's all I'm going to say. Now, now I'm going to tell you, take you for a trip in time to tell you how the 60s work. Right, when you've got a leaflet, first of all you've got to turn to the front page. The front page of the Tribune, 1969. The photo taken in late 1968 of what has become known as the mini affair. And out of the mini affair, I cop a 2-year jail sentence, prison sentence, for Indecent publications. You've got to understand that indecent publications is not... It's easier to get a conviction under the Obscene and Indecent Publications Act for an indecent publication because you can't interrogate the evidence in court. If you bust somebody on an obscene publication charge, your lawyers can play havoc like bloody Robertson and bloody Mortimer did in England and stuff like that, and Neville Rand and the boys did in Sydney. Anyway, I was a victim of that. Right, let's go. So I'm taking you back to 1968, third term. I'm a history honours student, finish off my thesis. I've been conscripted in the very first call-up. I'm a conscious objector. Me and my Trotskyist mates, we don't do jail. I hate jail, okay? You don't do jail. Jail is the shit. As the comrade says, you're on the outside, comrade. That's where the organisation takes place. You don't become a bloody Christ figure and go to jail. Okay, I'm cool with that. I hate being locked up. All right. I've got an ASIO file that starts in, 1966. I've also got a special branch file. It's a dossier. That's pretty bloody special. To get a dossier, you have to have, under the New South Wales Special Branch procedures, 3 index cards filled with crimes, and then you graduate to a dossier. And I had a dossier. Special branch, that's the political police of the New South Wales police force, disbanded after the Wood Royal Commission, disbanded because cronyism, alcoholism, long lunches, and what the Wood Royal Commission called the compilation of dirt files, i.e. political blackmail. I went to get my file after the branch was disbanded, only to get a message from the government saying, this is the number of your file, but it's been destroyed. When you read the Wood Royal Commission, before it got disbanded, Fred Longbottom was the bastard who you saw up the screen there earlier on. They destroyed the dirt files. I don't know what I did dirty, but fuck, must have been done cool. Anyway, me and Longbottom don't get on, okay? I hate special police, I hate spies. So, it's the day that Meredith and Nadia are down getting arrested at the Green Berets demo, you know? I'm working on my thesis, it's lunchtime. The resistance boys, the Allen brothers, they won't go hang around with Mike Jones and SDS and people like that. They've got a front lawn meeting going. And lo and behold, I'm going over there because they're my mates. And as I'm going over the front lawn, I see a little mini miner. Oh shit. And I look in the door, and there's Freddie Longbottom and his mate. And they've got a recording device. As it turns out, they've got a brand new recording device, and they're testing it out at Sydney University. Well, the news that they're cruising around testing out this unit has been relayed to the Vice-Chancellor, Bruce Roder Williams, and he sent Yeoman Bedell, the security guy, to advise the cops to go on, to leave. You know, I think, officer, I think you shouldn't be here now and you should move off. However, I get to the mini and I don't know, it's just a brain slap. And I think, shit, you shouldn't be here, Fred. So I look in the window and I say, Fred, I said, what are you doing here? Because that's me mocking him. And he says, oh, we're leaving. And I say, well, no, you're not. And I stand in front of the mini miner. And then he starts the engine, and I thought, oh shit, this is no good. So I quickly put my foot on the bloody wheel here and start letting down the tyres. Right? At the same time saying, hey, Fred's over here, come here! And then he starts to come around, you see? And then the Yeoman Bedell, he says, Mr. Carl, he says, if you don't stop letting down those tyres, I'm going to let Mr. Longbottom arrest you. And I sort of just miss out on immortality by saying, I say, go ahead, but I don't say, make my day. You know? Clint does that later on. Anyway, so the young bell stands there, crowd starts building up. Somebody rips open the bloody petrol tank. Meanwhile, sugar cubes appear. The tank gets filled up, and then the bonnet gets popped and out company, the wire system. And then people got these little stickers, victory of the NLF, and swastikas go all over the car. And reach into get this microphone and stuff, and we trash that. And when I say we, it starts to get to thousands, and that's where this picture at the height, that's looking up, that's the main entrance into Sydney University from City Road there, and they're from Parramatta Road, I believe. Looking back, there's actually probably thousands here, surrounding this mini. It's lunchtime. Right, well, how come I can become a leader of this thing? Well, I'm only a leader because when you read my ASIO file, it says there's only 4 people who are leading the thing. The 2 Percy brothers now deceased, me, and another guy you saw on the screen up there today, Paddy Dawson. And I don't know if you know Jim Percy, but Jim Percy was sort of like, at a demo he's a good bloke to have looking up your back. Anyway, he was a nice sort of guy, big and burly sort of thing. But of all those 4 people, ASIO says, I'm the most inflammatory. So, it's my show. So, we've got him and we've got a trashed car. Message has gone down to headquarters and Sydney University starts to get besieged. Next day it's called the siege of Sydney University in the press and in the media. Well, people have seen Paris, and so furniture's ripped out of the university grounds and this dirty great big Paris barricade put right across the front entrance to the university, and the cop cars they're building up, and then the 2 roads leading around the front lawn, they're blocked off as well, so we've got the thing sealed off and we've got 2 cops captured. Well, shit, what do? Well, that's a difficult problem. You've got these guys. If you let them go, there's going to be somebody charged, I think. Destroyed police property of a significant kind and committed some criminal acts. So we're not happy with that. So Jim Spiegelman, who eventually is one of Australia's super lawyers, judges, he's the SRC president. We get together, we nut out this idea. All right, we'll get the Commissioner of Police to come down and sign a document that will be, they've made a mistake, they shouldn't be spying on students and they have no right to be on the campus. And so we broker that deal, we get the bloody Commissioner of Police down, make him sign this bloody document, and we let the cops go. Sort of. Cars immobilised. So the crowd picked the mini miner up, because you could do that with mini miners. And they say, hey, Rowan, get up on top. This is a sort of get a trophy shot. Right. So I'm sitting on top of the car, it's carried out, we dump it in peak hour on City Road, you know? Holy sake. So the crowd dissipates, they go back to the Sydney University men's union, because there were separate men's and women's unions in those days, and go back and get a regular fare, which is meat pie and chips and gravy. And I'm walking across the main lawn, and the Deputy Vice Chancellor comes out. I forget his name at the moment, he's a bloody Freudian psychiatrist turned bloody statistician and rat man. But anyway, turned Sydney psychiatry into bloody statistics, for Christ's sake. Anyway, he stares straight in his chin as the shadows disappear over Sydney University. And he says, Mr. Khan, he says, nearly got out of hand. And I say something like, fuck yeah. Well, I didn't say it like that, but I wish I had. Anyway, I think that's the end of it. But later on, Longbottom and his mate come up to me at a demonstration, and he says jovially, or his mate says, words in fact, we're going to get you and there's nothing you can do about it. All right, and lo and behold, I'm publisher of the Sydney University newspaper, on Iswara. There's an editor. We're also printed by one of Murdoch's suburban printeries. Now, in a decent bloody charge, you get the editor, you get the printer, and you get the publisher. But I was headhunted, and that's the cartoon I was busted for. It's a reprint from an American bloody satirical journal. Sex is only skin deep. And that got me 2 years in prison. I didn't do the time because the Council of Civil Liberties came in on my behalf, and eventually got me a suspended jail sentence with some of Australia's top QCs representing me, but they couldn't do much. They pursued me. They served the summons to me when I was doing prac teaching at school. They made the mistake of ringing up my dad one night and said, we can't find Mr. Carl, you know where he is? And Dad was pissed. He said, you're looking for Rowan Cahill, are you? Go and fucking find him yourself, he said. So they did, and they found me through Teachers College when I was doing my dip ed and served the summons on me in school. They also checked on me when me and my late wife, Pam, we were living in Croydon, and they visited me about 11 o'clock one night, kicked down the door and demanded I come down for an interview in the station. And I said, I don't do interviews. I was in my pyjamas. I said, I'm represented by the Council for Civil Liberties, and the Council for Civil Liberties in those days was a pretty intense organisation. And once I mentioned that, they backed off. Anyway, point. That's a 60s moment. Blow your minds. That's indecent. When Wendy was talking about what they did over at UNSW, you realise how far off the planet those girls were, those people were, how brave and courageous and pushing the limits they were. Those were the times. They were the 60s, and basically that's all I can say.
Thank you, Rowan.